RecTech, more than a grill, it's a lifestyle. Don't go wrong, can't go wrong. Built by grillers for grillers. RecTech with a Q.com, R-E-C-T-E-Q, stainless steel. Buy one, you'll never buy another grill. Bucky Brooks played in the NFL, scouted in the NFL. I rely on him from time to time. And, man, I love magicians. I love David Blaine. I love David Copperfield. I take my son to see magicians all the time. I'm going to Vegas this weekend to see my kids. And I think we'll go to a magician. Speaking of which, I saw one last night. His name is Carson Wentz. And Bucky Brooks is joining me live now. It's just like he's an illusionist. He takes losses, turns them into wins. So I love him. What did you make of Wentz last night?
Well, after I got done riding the roller coaster, the Carson Wentz experience, I settled in and I was like, I don't really know what I just saw for 3.5 hours because there was some good play, there was some head-scratching play and some questionable decisions, and then you saw the epic comeback. And I just don't know if I'm Doug Peterson, what exactly do I have as my starting quarterback? I have a talented player, but I have a player that kind of drifts out the pocket, tries to make hero throws, is prone to make bad decisions. And we win some of these games, but how long can we sustain our ability to win? Because our quarterback is really, really inconsistent. Leads the league in turnovers, completion rate when everyone is completing 65% of their passes. He's a sub-60 passer. I just don't know what to make. And even though I heard you lean into the magical comparisons and you compared him to Brett Favre, I'm trying to figure out what version of Brett Favre are you comparing him to? Because the version of Brett Favre that I know was a 3-time MVP winner who was the best player at the position. And I don't know if we ever can say that Carson Wentz has been the best quarterback in football, particularly right now when he's really, really struggling.
Okay, speaking of Green Bay quarterbacks, I have said before, I like Aaron Rodgers, first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he throws the best ball since Dan Marino. But if he trails in any game in his career, he has a losing record. By the way, Tim Tebow doesn't. Ben doesn't. Brady doesn't. Mahomes doesn't. In fact, Lamar Jackson, who we label can't play from behind, has won 65% of his games if he's ever trailed for a minute in a game. So there's that. Secondly, Aaron has fewer fourth-quarter comebacks than Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan. And my theory is that Aaron tends to be a little bit of a front runner. When life is good and comfortable, he is in control. But when you got to get into the octagon and you trail and it's uncomfortable, his body language, he can be a little bit of a Baylor, not a foxhole guy. Last week I saw it again. Second pick, he decided it's windy. I'm not taking big risks. It felt like the Aaron who doesn't foster, get on my shoulders, I'll carry you. Is it a fair criticism of him?
I mean, I can understand that he doesn't have a lot of fourth-quarter comebacks and those things, but I think we have seen him play at a high level enough to know that, look, he's a foxhole guy. He can play at a level that is an MVP level, a Super Bowl winning level. Now, the difference is he's an older quarterback now, and as you get older, you need the supporting cast to do more. And so when I look at the Green Bay Packers and what Matt LaFleur wants to do is he wants to kind of spread the wealth, put some of this on the running game, also distribute it evenly amongst the passing game, put Aaron Rodgers on the move off play action. And when it works well, it's fine. I think the thing about Aaron is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he got beat up. And when you become an older quarter and you get hit and hit hard and hit persistently, your game changes. What he needs in these games where they're playing against teams that are even or a little better, he needs his coach to be able to bail him out by taking his game up a notch. And I don't know if Matt LaFleur is an elite-level coach when you match him up against other elite-level coaches. Some of these things have to be done by the coach creating a plan that allows the quarterback that play at a high level. I don't know if all of this can fall on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders.
So the Bears did not offer Mitch Trubisky a fifth-year extension, even though they said publicly how much they like him, and he did have a winning record. So Baker Mayfield, we're going to have at the end of this year, you're going to start talking about this stuff. And publicly, Stefanski's like, it's on me. I'm putting him in bad spots. But people don't tell you publicly what they think. Today, is he a guy you give an extension to, Baker Mayfield?
It's tough to say that, yes, I'm going to give him the extension and pay him the kind of money that comes with the extension. because I'm thinking I'm going to have to pay him what Deshaun Watson and others get. And I don't think we can say that Baker Mayfield is a $40 million quarterback. What Baker Mayfield is a B plus quarterback with everything around him being correct. And what they have in Cleveland is a perfect supporting cast. Say what you want about Jarvis Landry and OBJ. They're really good wide receivers. Offensive line has been revamped. Bill Callahan has those guys trending in the right direction. Dominant running game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So he has everything. And what we're seeing from Baker Mayfield, he starts out the game on fire. When they are even Steven, the game opens up, he's completing a high level of his passes. But when you get into the third quarter, and more importantly, the fourth quarter, Baker Mayfield falls off a cliff. He doesn't have the ability to do the extraordinary play. And so to me, he's an ordinary player, and you have to treat him as such. And I don't know if the Cleveland Browns want to pay big money prices for a guy who is just an ordinary player.
So this will sound kind of wonky, but I'm fascinated. We know Belichick can coach. They are the slowest wide receiving core I've ever seen. N'Keal Harry appears to be, at some point, it's not working. They haven't drafted a skill player Pro Bowler since Gronk. I've been told by two people in the NFL, in January, Belichick calls off everybody on the draft and says, I've got it from here. I look at this team. I don't know how to explain it. They cannot draft a wide receiver. And by the way, there is no perfect coach. Pete Carroll, Parcells, Jimmy Johnson, there's always a blind spot for everybody. We can blame Cam, but this is what Tom Brady was screaming about last year, is that get open. As a scout, explain to me how they're so bad at drafting wide receivers, because they don't have anybody who can separate at all.
Well, I mean, it's a hard system to play in because it's a system that requires a lot of thinking after the snap, meaning they read coverage and they break their routes based on the coverage. That is hard for young guys to pick up because it's not really a system that you utilize in college. And so there's a lot of layers that come with it. And then depending upon how they like to build this team, they like to have the diminutive slot receiver that wins with quickness. They want to have more bigger guys that can expand the strike zone for the quarterback, but it's hard to find big, fast guys that can separate. That's why people go crazy over a guy like a DK Metcalf, because you typically don't see those type of guys in the National Football League. It's just hard to find them. And so with the Patriots, I think what they're doing right now is they're trying to find their identity as an offense. And with these big body playmakers, what is the best way for us to play? Should we go up under center, use play action, and hope that the play action fakes create these windows where they can settle in? It's tough, but I think before we give up on N'Keal Harry, he's only a year and a half in his NFL career, and sometimes the light bulb goes off a little later for guys, and I think we need to give him every opportunity to fully develop. But you are right. They have had a very, very difficult time finding wide receivers in the draft that can come in and play at a high level consistently.
Two quarterbacks in the NFL, people kind of bailed on, Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill, and this morning they're playing really good football. Let's just go to Derek Carr. Last year and a half with Gruden, the numbers, 110 passer rating, 32 TDs, 9 picks. We got a minute and a half left. This morning, I think he's a top 12 quarterback in the league. I think he didn't have the right coach. Now he's got an offensive coach. I buy Derek Carr. To you?
I think he's good, not great. And I think the reason you hear the hesitancy sometimes that comes out of Las Vegas is because I think they also view him as that. The thing that we need to see from Derek Carr to go to the next level is, can he take this Raiders team when everything isn't right, and can he get them to the winner's circle? Sure, right now they have all of the playmakers that you want on the outside. Henry, Ruggs, Nelson Aguilar beginning to play well. Darren Waller is a fantastic tight end. The running game is working, big offensive line. But what we haven't seen the Raiders win when Derek Carr has to take his game up a notch and he has to put this team on his back. So much of what they're doing is predicated on John Gruden always calling the perfect play. The difference in Derek Carr and the Pat Mahomes, the Russell Wilsons, I mean, even the Dak Prescotts of the world, can they do it when the things around them aren't right? Those other guys have been able to do it more often than Derek Carr. We need to see him do it before we can put him in that category with those special players at the position.
Good stuff, Bucky Brooks, NFL Network, Fox Sports analyst too. Good seeing you.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Colin.
You bet. Bucky Brooks, love to have him on. Terry Bradshaw last hour. Jason McIntyre's got his NFL picks. By the way, you're going to hear this in the next couple of weeks. Somebody's going to win the NFC East, and they're going to have a terrible record, right? And everybody's going to say, hey, this is going to become a story. Oh, you shouldn't be able to win a division when you're like 6 and 10 and 7 and 9. Time out. Let's go through the divisions. And let's be honest about this. First of all, I've seen Seattle and Carolina win a division sub 500, then go in a playoff game. We have 50 bowl games, 12 are watchable, and you all celebrate them. We just added 2 playoff teams. We all celebrated that. But you can't win a division at 7 and 9. So let's look at the division leaders right now. Okay, NFC East, kind of crazy. But Philadelphia did make the playoffs last year. We know they have talent. Chicago right now is a playoff team. They can't score. All right. Tampa Bay, New Orleans, no squabble there. Seattle's going to win the NFC West. It is statistically the worst defense of all time. And oh, by the way, Arizona, hot and cold, is a playoff team. All right, let's go through the AFC standings. You tell me. All right, so Buffalo and Miami right now are playoff teams. Miami's in a rebuild. By the way, AFC South, Colts have a 58-year-old quarterback. They'd be a playoff team. Folks, there's all sorts of teams that make the playoffs with all sorts of massive flaws. They're terrible on one side of the ball. It happens. Seattle and Carolina have both made the playoffs sub 500. Everybody doubted them. Shouldn't be here. They both won a playoff game. We got 50 bowl games. 40 are unwatchable. Every time we add one, you celebrate it. Terry Bradshaw next hour.